Greetings, Indie Warriors! I hope you have all been well. It's Old Gamer Joe here, bringing a voice to the voiceless at I Dream of Indie Games. As we do at the beginning of every week, we're here to look at all of the amazing indie game releases, this time for the week of August 26th through the 30th of 2024. It's so good to be with you. I hope you are catching up on your huge growing backlogs, as 2024 has been jam-packed full of amazing indie releases. So yeah, this week looks awesome once again, but you know what else is awesome? Becoming a member of our Patreon. It does help us bring coverage like this to you each and every week. And you know those gaming echo chambers are too scared to touch the games that we talk about. Head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames and get awesome perks like Discord access, and even this show early and ad and sponsor free. Also, don't miss our epic live streams here and at twitch.tv/idreamofindiegames Tuesdays and Thursdays. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. Our first release this week is going to require great determination if you hope to survive. It's the city builder and an eagerly anticipated sequel, Endzone 2, entering early access on Steam. A post-apocalyptic setting awaits the brave ones. Maintain the safety of those that you love, gather resources as you're known to do in this genre, and of course, construct a perfect settlement. Keep the threats out. The pioneers will almost certainly find a way to survive, but do be aware you're going to have the weather against you, as well as environments will be constantly changing as you play. There are ruins, wastelands, and tons of exploration to be done. Research new buildings and watch them grow and prosper, or make trades so that you can continue to establish different trade routes and partners. But really, the biggest threat is the environment itself, as radioactivity is common in this world. Prepare yourself. Early access is going to be on the 26th.
This is Endzone 2. Your journey awaits, survivor.
Anime girls, you love them or you hate them. Me, I actually love anime art, so whenever I see it come up in video games, I'm all about it myself. Snezhinka, Sentinel Girls 2, the name that I absolutely said wrong, is launching on the 26th. A very simplistic shooter from what I can gather, where there's also a card element involved. You'll play as, just look at the title of the game, that's her name, I'm not gonna try to butcher that again, in a 2.5D world, with your gun as your main weapon. Mow down mechs as they come at you endlessly. According to the Steam page, the controls are going to be extremely simple. Played with a controller or a mouse, you gotta move, you gotta aim, you gotta shoot, and you got a few gadgets that you can use. That's really all there is to it. But the title will feature a full story mode for you to go through, along with 2 challenge modes. And there's even online rankings here. Pretty nice deal. Toys. Who didn't have toys growing up, right? Whether it were Barbie dolls, or more like me, I had Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. I had the cute little Ninja Turtle van. Let me know in the comments below, what were some of your favorite action figures when you were growing up? But I bring this all up because we're talking next about Toy Shire, which is launching into early access also on the 26th. Coming to us from Blue Spy Studios, this is an army defense title. It looks like it should be a Toy Story game, really. Heck, the premise of the game even reminds me a bit of those movies. So here's the idea. Basically, you got some new toys from your family, and your old toys are a little bit jealous. So what happens? They go to battle. This is certainly a unique take on the tower defense genre. There's plenty of upgrades here as well, a lot of different maps. I'm definitely curious to try this out, despite the fact that this isn't my normal genre, just because it is such a unique concept, and I really like the visual style that they're going for.
Early access on August 26th.
Throughout the years, I've stayed at a few different inns, mainly holiday inns. But this time we get to stay in Tycoon. In fact, we aren't just staying there, we're building the inn too, designing it from the ground up, doing just about everything to manage this place. Add furniture, rugs, get people into this joint. That's the name of the game, driving business, and you're gonna need a good staff in order to do so. Seasons will also change as you progress throughout the game, which of course can really determine how many customers are going to be showing up. If you've always dreamed of managing your own inn, well then In Tycoon should be the game you've been waiting for. Also entering early access on the 26th. It's Metroidvania time, but not your typical Metroidvania title here. This is Crypt Custodian, a title that is all about cleaning up. You'll take control of the cat Pluto, who has sadly passed away, but is damned to an eternity of custodial duties. Oh man, that sounds just like me, except I didn't die. The game is also said to be inspired by classic Zelda titles, which is music to my ears as you battle foes with your broom, and there's a variety of puzzles for you to take down along the way in a huge connected world, with lots of upgrades for your character as well. So all of this is to say, this looks awesome and I can't wait to play through it. Potatoes, boil 'em, mash 'em, make another game. Lord of the Rings fans, get ready for the first survival crafting game in the Lord of the Rings universe. You'll be playing as the dwarves this go around through massive procedurally generated areas. The game can be enjoyed either solo or in co-op, and will also have base building elements alongside a full dwarf builder. What? A dwarf builder? I've always dreamed of building my own dwarf, I guess. Either way, it's no surprise that there's yet another Lord of the Rings game out there, but it's the genre type that might have caught people a bit off guard. Something a little bit different for Lord of the Rings. We'll see if it catches on with the crowd when it launches on the 27th.
Our reputations as master artisans precede us, as does our combat prowess. But where our hearts truly lie is in one another's company. For all dwarves share deep bonds of fellowship. Now, in this new age, it is time we dwarves return to Moria.
Oh, a drama-filled release next that is full of Middle Eastern mythology. This one's called The Land of the Magnates. It's coming to us from Permanent Way Games and published by Indie.io. Take control of a prince in this magical world where you use spells and platforming abilities in hopes of surviving. I get a little bit of a Prince of Persia vibe, and I'm sensing a lot of you out there probably feel the same way about this one, but we'll just have to see. The combat certainly looks interesting, the visuals not half bad, and if it's fun enough to play, hey, no real complaints here.
You remove the suffocating silence from the land of magnates.
Alright, it's back to the cute anime girls already with KAMITSUBAKI City Ensemble, which will be releasing on August 28th. This game is being featured in the Steam Rhythm Fest, so be sure to check that out if you're a rhythm gaming fan like I am. Yes, you have AI girls in this title who are using songs to try to restore peace to the world once again. Looks like there's a grid here, kind of old school Guitar Hero style. 48 different songs for you to take on, so quite a few, along with a season pass that will give you over 100 different songs. So if you want to keep investing into this title, there will be plenty of songs available. Also, 4 different difficulty levels. With rhythm games, I always love the genre for the most part, but some of them can be even a little tricky for old gamer Joe. So as long as it's playable, which it sounds like it will be, with those 4 different difficulty options available, I'm gonna be all in and probably buying some of these songs too. Racing fans, get ready to start those engines and put the pedal to the metal because CarX Street is launching on the 29th, coming to us from CarX Technologies. I'll be first to admit I'm not usually into the more realistic racers, but for those of you that are, I think this game's going to have at least something to offer you. For one, it's going to have a massive open world for you to explore, club races for you to take down your opponents in, free drift rides and drift races to go along with those, as well as sprint races and, of course, leaderboards so you can see if you are top of the charts. There are also delivery requests for you to take on, and you can create a car to your liking. Tune it the way you want, make it look the way you want. You're in control in this one. Oh, and I didn't even mention the battle mode. So it sounds like this is a pretty robust racing experience for you racing fans. Well, I guess you could say this next game is totally nuts. Ha ha ha. Squirrel with a Gun, a third-person shooter where you're trying to collect as many golden acorns as possible. And there's some puzzle elements to this one as well. Obviously, it looks pretty damn goofy and over the top, but maybe that's part of, if not all of the charm. Taking place in a massive sandbox, you'll gain control of all sorts of goofy contraptions, along with various upgradable guns, lots of different ways to take down your enemies, and it should be completely hilarious. I'm really excited to play Squirrel with a Gun. It might even be my most anticipated release this week, and that's saying something in a jam-packed week of indies. So I'm gonna be honest, City Builder fans, I have no idea how you decide what you're going to play because so many freaking city builders come out each and every week. I'm kind of blown away by it, but hey, obviously there's a demand, they keep making them. This is MEMORIAPOLIS, which is coming to us from 5 p.m. Studio, going to be an early access release on this one to begin with. While the game takes place across 4 different ages, it is contained to one singular city. You won't do any of the road work in this title either, you'll just do more of the planning. But you do have to get into the weeds as far as politics are concerned, unfortunately, so be prepared to get your hands dirty. There are real historical events throughout this title as well, such as the Black Death. So if you love this genre and you're a bit of a history buff, well, no brainer.
Factions to prevent riots, famines, and epidemics. The growth of a city is a unique journey. One you can guide but never fully control.
Now it's time to get super weird, and we love at I Dream of Indie Games when games get weird with it. Well, Gori, Cuddly, Carnage looks like a brutally violent mix of Tony Hawk and other genres that I can't quite put my finger on. Yeah, this is an indie like no other, folks, where you will play as Gori, and he's accompanied by his hoverboard Frank, who is an AI. There's some combat here as well, so it's not just about hoverboarding around. The game has a very sweet style to it. Just look at the visuals. Fantastic. Honestly, I could go on, but I don't really know what I'm saying without playing this game for myself. So let's see how this bizarre indie comes together on the 29th. But for whatever reason, I'm really excited to give it a go.
Save the world and look cute while you do it.
If this week couldn't get any more awesome, well, a 33-year-old classic is returning with a fresh coat of paint. It's Shadow of the Ninja Reborn, based on the classic NES title. Coming to us from Natsume Atari, the game takes place in 2029. Ooh, that's not that far off anymore, is it? Relive this cult classic in 2D side-scrolling action as you use an assortment of awesome weapons. And yes, there is 2-player co-op this go-around, making it even more fun. Well, hopefully, as long as you don't scroll your partner off of the screen, as tends to happen with these things. But either way, this game just looks awesome. The upgraded character models, the new art, and a 6th entirely new stage. This is not just a quick and dirty port. There's been a lot of effort put into Shadow of the Ninja Reborn, and I can't wait to play it. We have another great looking action title. It's coming to us from Point and Sheep and the legendary 3D Realms, called Bloodless, and we actually did feature this game. We were sponsored by 3D Realms in a video. You can check it out in our sponsored section on the channel. We have a full playlist dedicated to that content, and Gamer Ghoulfriend has a hilarious time parrying her way through this challenging action game that is really limited in its color palette, but to a striking effect. A lot of blacks and whites here, but other colors do mix in, and a whole lot of blood. But yeah, like I mentioned, there's a lot of parrying going on in this one, and a really deep storyline to get invested in. So I like what I saw a lot out of this game, and I'm very much looking forward to trying the full release. We don't have to wait any longer. Gosh, we're spoiled in the indie scene, aren't we? This next release looks to be a bit of a tribute to the Ratchet & Clank series, which I'm a big fan of, so excited to see a title take a shot at it within the indie scene. It's coming to us from Evil Raptor and Plyon. It's called Akimbot, which is not a title that rolls off the tongue, but regardless, cool looking 3D action game here. You'll be controlling X, an outlaw robot, and he has a sidekick just like Ratchet & Clank did, Shipset. Visuals look pretty damn impressive for an indie, I have to say. I really can't tell how it's going to play until I get my hands on it, of course, but the action does look pretty damn good. We'll just have to see if the 3D platforming can come together and live up to some lofty expectations. Definitely tricky when you're inspired by a game that is so beautiful and well made, and you have that smaller budget. But we shall see. Hopefully it comes together awesome, and we're all raving about Akimbot when it launches on the 29th.
You are our last hope.
If I'm doing this, I'm doing it my way. The fate of the universe is at stake. I've got to get out of here.
Alright, we've highlighted just about every major indie release, but as you know, there are so many damn games releasing in a single week that it's impossible for me to sit here and go through them all without this video being like 2 hours long. So here's a quick rundown of some of the games that I didn't highlight in this sweet sizzle reel. Enjoy, and thank you for supporting independent content. Let me know in the comments below which games you're going to be picking up this week. I can't wait to hear from you. Voice to the voiceless!